Hello people, welcome to Bloons Tower Defense, a game where you place dozens of dart-throwing monkeys to stop a never-ending wave of balloons. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself, where do the balloons come from? What do they want? Why are they even attacking in the first place? And more importantly, how long have they been doing this? Because if you look closer, the answers are disturbing. There are signs, hints of thousands of years of painful cycles, endless war and lost history. So to truly understand the horror behind it all, we need to go back all the way to the very first balloon game, before the era of tower defense, where things seemed simple. A single monkey, a handful of darts, a line of balloons floating across the screen. It looks like a sport, a carnival game the monkeys had perfected, with targets, obstacles, bouncy walls, all to make it look more fun. But this wasn't a sport. The balloons weren't just floating around for fun. There was something else. Because as innocent as it looked, the balloons were alive, a living sentient species sharing the world with the monkeys. But the monkeys had a different vision. Total control, domination over anything that opposed them, as despite the name BTD6, there are over 45 Bloons games spanning Flash, mobile, Steam and beyond. Maybe it was fear, power, or just obsession, but the monkeys started experimenting, containing the balloons, studying their weaknesses, preparing for something bigger. And that preparation gave birth to the real tower defense game. Hold on, wait, not that type of birth. Bloons Tower Defense 1. This is where it all begins. The balloons trying to flee, escape captivity, and the monkeys, they defend. They build various towers at every corner of the path to ensure one thing: no balloon gets out. At first, the balloons are weak, but then they multiply, they get stronger, faster, and the monkeys, they match them with darts, tack shooters, ice, cannons, and eventually the super monkey, which is just absolutely horrendous. I'm pretty sure a 96-year-old could attack faster than this. Even the game knew it was terrible, but besides all that, the arms race has begun. Bloons Tower Defense 2 brings the first true expansion of the conflict. More towers, more upgrades, but more importantly, more maps, establishing their presence on desert roads and high above the clouds. Which makes no sense because monkeys can't fly. Just kidding, I laced their bananas with acid. Now they jumped off a building thinking they could fly. The balloons evolved too, such as the lead balloon, immune to simple darts, and the black balloons, resistant to explosives. Each countermeasure the monkeys create only pushes the balloons further, but the monkeys, they see this as progress. And then there's Hot Air Balloon, one of the spin-offs that gives us a glimpse into the absurdness of the monkeys, as you're one dangling off a hot air balloon, soaring through the sky, dodging clouds and trees at breakneck speed. You storm forward, popping as many balloons as you can, because one hit is all it takes, and just like that, it's over. I mean, come on, did they not learn from the Germans? A sacrifice in the name of popping balloons. This isn't just war anymore, it's religious, their own type of faith we don't understand yet, or may never will. And I'll be honest, I didn't expect this video to go so deep. Originally, I was just watching Dragoon's new video when he casually said,
"The Bloons lore is too dark for a YouTube video."
Alright, bet. That one line sent me spiraling, so I commented saying I'd cover it. Now next thing you know, I'm here, and this is only the surface of what's to come. And if that wasn't enough, the Wex Gamer 1929 replied with, "I'll hold you accountable." Listen, I don't know who this man is, but he sounds very demanding. And there's no way this guy is 96 years old, but if he is, props to him. Hopefully he lives long enough to comment on this video. Wait, 96? Hold on a second. Bloons Tower Defense 3 pushes things further. Maps aren't just backgrounds, they're territories. Each new area means new land the monkeys now control. With more land to control, more balloons attempt to escape, but the monkeys double down. More towers are introduced, monkey beacons and spikopults, each more destructive than the last. And the balloons send in their first true weapon. The Moab, massive ornery air blimp, a heavy white and blue airship filled with smaller balloons within. This isn't just survival anymore, it's conquest, and nowhere is that more clear than Bloons Monkey City. An entire game about taking land. You expand tile by tile, capturing each zone from the balloons by extreme force. You build monkey towers and slowly erase every trace of balloon territory. The monkey's origin is unknown, but one thing for sure, they're damn good at being a British colonizer. And yet, the balloons still resist. In Bloons Tower Defense 4, the conflict reaches a breaking point. The balloons aren't just escaping anymore. they're attacking. Their numbers grow, their formations get tighter, and they begin developing entirely new threats, like the BFB, a colossal blood-red blimp that dwarfs everything before it. And the monkeys, they go all in on the military path. Guns, bombs, planes, spike traps, glue cannons, Johnny Depp, and even banana farms fueling the war efforts, giving them a higher budget than the motherfucking US of EA. Some turn to science, others to sorcery, but not all of them fight with tech, because somewhere along the way, the monkeys made a religious connection. They introduce the Temple of the Sun God, a monument built on blood. You offer sacrifices of dozens of monkeys and tens of thousands of dollars worth of power to engage the Sun God Temple. But unlike other cases of giving money to Jesus, this time it actually works, and in return you get the Sun God, an unstoppable beam of destruction, light, heat, judgment. But it doesn't feel like strategy anymore. It feels like worship, and it's all starting to make sense. This isn't just an upgrade, it's a ritual, a holy transformation, and the Bloons seem to understand that. Because on Sun Temple, they don't just follow a path, they converge as if they're trying to destroy the heart of the monkey power before it can rise again. As the monkey's reach continued to grow, expanding into new lands never touched before, one thing became clear. With the Sun God on their side, anything was possible. Nothing stood in their way. So here comes Bloons Super Monkey, the flashy arcade spin-off that, strangely enough, might explain the motives behind it all. Or at least a part of them. For once, we get a glimpse into the life of the Bloons. Peaceful, calm, floating through the sky. Until the monkeys deploy their Super Monkey. He doesn't defend, he hunts. Charging forward, obliterating every Bloon in sight. Not for defense, but destruction. And once again, we're forced to ask, why? And then it hits. The Bloons are a resource. Every Bloon popped in this game drops something called blobs, a strange glowing energy used to upgrade weapons, unlock tech, and fuel power-ups. But blobs aren't just currency, they're fragments, remnants of something much more powerful. Bloontonium, the source of Bloon life. Every Bloon is made of it, and without it, the Bloons cease to exist. But with it, the monkeys build, research, evolve. Bloontonium is the backbone of their entire arsenal. It fuels the technology behind every tower, every upgrade, from the simple dart monkeys to the advanced tech of future generations. It's a resource extraction, an empire built on the remains of a living species. And now, with that power in hand, Bloons Tower Defense 5 takes it to the next level, expanding the war across the globe. There are dozens upon dozens of maps now, from ruins to snowy peaks, volcanic islands, and otherworldly zones. Each one represents more land seized, more territory converted into battlegrounds. With every new front line, the Bloons adapt, and now their most terrifying weapon yet, the ZOMG, a monstrous green blimp packed with 4 BFBs inside, each BFB filled with Moabs. Each Moab loaded with ceramics, pinks, leads. It just reveals how far they're willing to go. But so do the monkeys. The towers evolve. Now they have ninjas, snipers, planes, submarines. But there were others, creatures of the wild, caught in the middle with their homes destroyed. They had no other choice but to join the fight. That's how the special agents were born. Squirrels, meerkats, and my guy Franklin, once part of a thriving ecosystem, now repurposed, drafted into a war they never asked for. It started in BTD 4 Mobile with the Beekeeper, but by BTD 5, they were everywhere. Proof of how far the monkeys are willing to go, but yet they somehow managed to outdo themselves, because behind all this tech, all this conquest, the monkeys begin building something divine. But this isn't just another map, it's a tower. A monkey. They themselves have become a god, a staple in their planet, but yet they want an impact on the universe. They demand something bigger, a sacred monument that demands a price, not in money, but in sacrifice. To create it, you must give up other towers, your most advanced machines, your strongest allies, all willingly erased, in exchange for something greater, the Temple of the Sun God. But this time, they're not praying for some god in the sky. They are the god in the sky, a radiance being of pure destruction, born of belief and bloodshed. As the more powerful the monkeys you sacrifice, the stronger its blessing becomes. It's faith, because the monkey temple isn't about winning, it's about transcending. Every temple built, every tower consumes, every orb of golden energy is proof that the monkeys now fight in the name of their defined purpose. Lastly comes Bloons Tower Defense 6, the final evolution, the apex of this war. The monkeys somehow still expand, but this time it may be for the last. There's alchemists, helicopters, and the forbidden Waterloo University monkey, but none of that compares to their most prized possession: followers of a blind faith. Throughout history, religion has been twisted into weapons, used to spark fear, fuel wars, and control millions. And somehow, the monkeys have been fed the same. They worship power, they glorify sacrifice, and the world bends to their beliefs. But who taught them this? Who first spent the truth into gospel, and how long has it been like this? But before we can answer that, the Bloons retaliate, unleashing horrors we've never seen. The DDT, or what I like to call the mini BBC. Fast, black, lead, and camo nearly undetectable, which isn't usually the case. A BAD, a purple blimp so massive, so dense it dwarfs all others. Inside it, more blimps, more death. But by now, something feels off. The maps start telling a story, one that echoes BTD4's faint hints of world building, but now it cannot be ignored. There are too many maps to count. Cities, volcanoes, temples, laboratories. More than I can even explain, and each one, more land taken, more power handed to the monkeys, but a few of them stand out. On Frozen Over, buried beneath the ice, you will find Bloons, and something else. A caveman monkey. Or just cave monkey, I suppose, since there aren't any humans in this world. Or are there? Could this possibly be where the monkeys learnt religion from? Or did they find it out on their own? We'll never know that question, but what we do know is that the cave monkey has been frozen in time for what could be tens of thousands of years, and when you break him out, he doesn't speak, he doesn't think, he just attacks for Bloons. It's instincts, almost like it was programmed within his mind, like it was always there. This war, this belief, may have outlived recorded history, so what if this religion wasn't a choice? What if it was all they've ever known? And on Adora's temple, you see something far more unsettling. When summoning the true sun god, if you sacrifice certain monkeys while others are still active, his powers doesn't just grow, it warps the world. The skies darken, the land changes, the temple becomes something else. Something dark, as if the world around you had flipped. Water turned to blood, and the life that once filled the air has become nothing but death. His intentions aren't as divine as we were led to believe. Could he be the one who started it all? No, that can't be the case. Right? Surely not, but I think it's time we address the elephant in the room. No, not you, Hayden. Every game, every upgrade, every sacrifice, it was all a part of a loop. No matter how many monkeys you place down, or how many perfect setups you'll build, you would eventually lose. The Bloons just keep coming, forever. No victory screen, no final round. A war that just never ends. What if you always lose? Was it ever a war at all? Or just a loop? One you're stuck in, repeating the same paths, same upgrades, same maps, because neither side, monkeys or Bloons, can stop. To understand this, look at the rounds. Each one sent in stronger Bloons, faster patterns, harder formations. We all try to push a little further each time, but what if you stop fighting? What if you just let them win? You let the Bloons pour in with no resistance. You don't quit, you don't die, the game doesn't end, you just watch. And what you see is horrifying. The round counter climbs, thousands of Moabs, countless Bloons, more than should even exist. They don't stop, they don't explain, they just come until suddenly they don't. The monkeys just stand there waiting, hoping for more to come, because at this point, that's all they've ever known. That's all their life is. And it's been like that for generations upon generations. Until suddenly, it all starts again, back at the beginning. The Bloons attack, the monkeys fight back, the sacrifices are made, the temples are built, the cycle repeats. And you start to wonder why. Was it the sun god? The one we gave everything to? Did he create this loop for entertainment? Or was that a lie too? Because the deeper you look, the less it makes sense. Maybe there was never a god, there has only been a watcher, a manipulator, a presence always there, feeding the lies, promising salvation, watching the loop, repeating the cycle, feeding off the spectacle of war. You. Psst, subscribe, I want 100k.